Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning to another stream. Got Mr. Hayes in the house.
Yo, yo, yo.
If you guys are new here, here's what we do on the daily, in the morning, or on the weekly. In the morning, we typically come in here and take a look at. What is this? In the morning, we come into this house, take a look at the price section, see what's going on NQ, see how the overnight session interacted with the Asian session interacted with the London session. Then we dive a little deeper, see what can happen going into New York. We do a little bit of trading during the New York session as well. Then during the weekly prep, we come in here, review what we have going on going into the week, review the price action that we had during the previous week. So we're going to start off with going over through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the trades that we took during that week. And then we'll dive into stocks that we are watching here and some crypto as well. So let's take a look at it. Let's see what's going on in the markets. I already outlined everything inside the Paper Traders Discord for what we got going on. So let's see what we got.
That gun long is crazy.
Gun long, yeah, dude. Fucking, what am I at now? 900%.
Oh,
I can't retard it. Oh man.
Ooh, what about?
Let's take a
no previous day lows.
no previous day lows on which one?
Peng.
Oh, okay. I'll fucking ping. Let's take a look at
Peng.
let's take a look at NQ here. Here we got NQ. So previous weekly high, we left all the levels as they were from the previous stream. So everything that we left is as we were outlining it last week. So when I say previous week high, I'm referring to the week of December 1st through December 5th. Just be aware of that. So here we are. We have that previous weekly high, right? Price over here during the Monday session. We have the Asian session consolidation, a little bit of consolidation, London session, manipulating above that session. We're taking this leg down after the FOMC announcement or after that Friday pump. We're taking that leg to the upside. We're outlining the OTE of that leg. So right now, price is trading inside the 786, inside the OTE of that area. Come up to our 12-hour level at 25,853. Rejection, right? No continuation above that. Immediate close below that London session high. So now that's telling us, okay, well, given that we had this interaction with the London manipulating above the Asian session, you can see a reversal. We typically outline it during our streams. We take a look at the daily plan. So I'm going to turn this music down a little bit. It's like trying to talk with the pace of the music, and it's like fucking blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I'll switch. I got
No,
a playlist.
you're good. That tism's cranking hard today.
No, you're good.
So initially we had this 5-minute fair value gap over here as well. See how price displaced it. Initially tapped into it going into that 920. We took some shorts here. This was our first short trade. Took it. It came down, swept into the OTE of the smaller range during the London session, right? That London session range. That gave us that continuation to the upside over here. No displacement through that 12-hour level. Immediate reaction out of it right at 930. Then displacement below the London session high. No body above it. This previous 930 candle high, or that closing price, is holding the 935 candle body below it. That gives us that continuation to the downside. We can re-enter here on that retest on the 1-minute order block, and that gives us that solid continuation to the downside. All of these levels were outlined. That 25,651 was the one that we were aiming at. We got it, and we fucked off. There's that other 12-hour level, right? All of these 12-hour levels come into play like magic, and I'll show you guys the bigger chart. Going to the Tuesday session, Asian session, consolidation, London once again, manipulation to the downside this time, right? So this tells us, okay, well, New York is likely going to reverse to the upside, but first we need to sweep some liquidities. Over here at 925, just a little bit of consolidation. 930 comes around, we see an immediate, or 925, where's that? No, 930. 930 comes around, immediate candle to the downside, right, without sweeping this high right there. Immediate rejection to the downside, sweeping this liquidity right there, 25. Are you playing some like elevator music?
fine.
Okay. I was like, what the fuck? Sweep of this liquidity right there with our rising VIX fix, which if you have been with us for a long time is something that we preach all the time. That rising VIX fix plus a sweep of liquidity gives us that good point of entry as kind of our bread and butter approach to trading. Sweep of that, displacement of the 1 minute fair value gap right there. Then we displaced this, what appeared to be an order block. We displaced it, so now it's a breaker. You can see that the way the bodies are respecting it, we're not closing below the 50% of that. So this can give you a nice trade entry all the way up to Asian session, and then you can fuck off right after. So that was a good trade, but I think initially we took some shorts and then just a little bit of longs, just up to this liquidity right there, and then we fucked off from there. Wednesday, take a gander at our Wednesday. Going into Wednesday, we were looking at a little bit of a fucking, what is it called, a little megaphone setup right here. So we had the all the way from Monday, Tuesday, right, all of these lows were touching, all of these highs were touching. Over here, London session, you can see that it swept both sides of the Asia session, right? So that was telling us, okay, well, price can see an S&D going into the session. That was also FOMC day, so a little bit of a choppy price action after the open, but going into the open right here at 9:10, 9:15, we were looking at this price action. We saw that, okay, well, we displaced this. Price is not looking like it wants to reverse yet because we haven't swept either side of the London session. So over here we have a fair value gap. Price is coming into it. 9:10, 9:15. Next 15 minute opens up. We're not displacing through this fair value gap. This gives us a nice entry for shorts. We're targeting these lows right there, and we're also targeting that low over here, which price comes down into. Right, we get multiple entries off of this fair value gap. So you could have came up, retested this right at 9:45. That gives you another 15-minute candle. Price comes down, we sell it off right there, fuck off, and then we're waiting over here. Right, once again, price comes down, does a double sweep of this liquidity. We're holding this broadening formation over here. We have the VIX fix rising right there at 11 o'clock. So this is sweeping that previous hourly candle low. So from here, you can start targeting that upside, which is going to be your London session high. Could have targeted it that previous weekly high, and then that sweep. So over here, sweep, right? That's post FOMC right there. So Thursday, going into Thursday. Where is my? I don't see anything for Thursday. There we go. Thursday journal. So Thursday journal, we had a fair value gap over here on the 15-minute. All right, I'll show you guys right there. You can see a little better. You got 15-minute candle right there. Right, you can see the way this 12 hours got respected, rejection to the downside. This other 12-hour at 25.729, another respect of that low over here as the Asian session opened up. Immediate reaction into it. Displacement to the downside. We come down, retest this 12-hour level at 25.414. See a reaction out of it. London session's kind of consolidating inside of it. So going into the New York session, we're just kind of waiting to see what price actually wanted to do, given that London session was inside the Asian session. So it was a little bit of we're going to wait and see what New York wants to do. Going into the open, we were rejecting this 15-minute fair value gap initially right here. It was a tiny but mighty fair value gap, right? We tapped into this 15-minute fair value gap. We swept that liquidity. No displacement above it. So we're tapping into this 15-minute fair value gap, right? No displacement through. You can see the way that those 15-minute bodies are being respected. Initial sweep right there on the 5-minute with an SFP. I think I was trading over here. We entered initial trade over here, sold off on this liquidity right there, right, and fucked off. It obviously gave us a much larger trade, but that's why we backtest. That's why we take a look at these and see how we could have played it a lot better. Okay, but right here, another SFP on this 5-minute right at 9:20. So this is telling us, okay, well, price is not willing to continue to the upside yet, so we're going to play what's given to us, and we're going to target the most likely liquidity. So this first one was right there. Second one would have been the London session low. The third one would have been that 25.343. And then, of course, we could have targeted that previous day low, but we're playing it level by level, right? We're looking at if this gets displaced, then we can see the next level. If not, then we're going to see a reversal. So that's why that 25.414 level, that's where we started hunting for our longs. You can see right at 10 a.m. we sweep the previous hourly low at 9:55 right there. That's the previous hourly low, 9:55. 10 a.m. opens up. We have that rising VIX fix. We're holding above that 12-hour level, right? And also the body of this 10 a.m. candle at 5 on the 5-minute chart. we're holding the closing price of that previous candle as well. So that gives us that good reversal to the upside. Take that reversal, get our reversal to the upside. Boom, boom, boom. Let me get rid of some of these. We come into the OTE of this whole range. So from the top of this London session all the way to the bottom of this New York session, we take the OTE of that. You can see how price is coming into that 12-hour level, as well as the 786, this liquidity up above. And we also have both of these right there. So we take that short right off of it, back into the OTE of this leg to the upside that we just had. Another hold of this OTE right there. OTE of the last leg up, we get that continuation to the upside. Right over here, we're targeting whatever liquidities we have on the upside, but the more likely ones are going to be your London session and your Asian session. Through the 12-hour level, right, continuation to the upside. Friday, price opens up. We are now below this 12-hour level at 25,729. That sweep, rejection, right? And now we're just kind of consolidating below it. Asian session over here, consolidation, London manipulation. So it was kind of telling us, okay, well, we could see a reversal to the upside, but given that we've swept the previous weekly high, we're trying to get below the previous weekly 50%, which price was around these levels over here. So below the previous 50%, you know what happens, right? If we sweep a high of a candle or a low of a candle, if we want to see an outside candle, we need to get through the 50% range. So over here, we broke through that 50% of that previous weekly range. Price broke through, so our next target was previous weekly low. And of course, on Friday, we got that. Initial over here at 9:30, right? We come up, reject the 5-minute fair value gap that got formed over here as we were rejecting the London session OTE as well. That gave us that nice run to the downside, sweep of this liquidity. Rising VIX fix comes back up, rejecting this order block right there, and another just continuation to the downside. Over here, we were watching that 4-hour levels, or those 4-hour candles, the hourly candle. So they gave us all of those. It's all a combination of watching those time frames that we were able to just capture some of those moves. And let me show you over here on the hourly, right? Hourly also time frame. If you were inside the Discord that morning, we were talking about, well, price is trading below the 1550 EMA. Over here, we were looking at this 8 a.m. candle. We were streaming probably around, I want to say 8:30. So at 8:30, price was still sweeping over here. So we were possibly saying, okay, well, if price comes down below this previous candle high, then we can see that reversal to the downside. Or if we come back up, we're going to be watching at this hourly fair value gap. So over here, we get that tap into at 9 a.m., right? Sweep of the previous hourly candle high. Price is now closing below, or the body's starting to go below that closing price of that 8 a.m. candle. So that's immediately telling us, okay, well, we can see a reversal given that we're in a bearish PD array. We're getting below the 50% of that previous weekly range. And we're also tapping into a fair value gap. And we're also below the 1550. So that combination gives us that run to the downside, and then obviously that continuation is just fucking disgusting at 10 a.m. That whole candle is fucking 1,000 tickles. So that's what we got right there. That's beautiful. We still have some levels to the downside. We swept this liquidity right there that we were looking at, 25,118.50, I think we mentioned on Twitter. So let's outline the important levels that we will be looking at this week. So previous weekly low, as always, previous weekly high. It's not too far above of what the previous weekly high was. So right there, and then Sunday open. Let's see, this range is still very tight here. Sunday open right there. Oh my god. Fucking outline these properly. Weekly low, so that sweep of liquidity is nice. 25.13.193.75 is a good level that we have been watching for a while because of the reactions that we had off of it. Over here, rejected off of it, then broke through it, or initial rejection, broke through it, back down, through it, now retested it, above it, broke through it, back again, another retest over here, another rejection over here, multiple rejections, another retest right there, continuation to the upside. So as long as those bodies are staying above it, I think we can see somewhat of a reversal going into this next week. Let's get rid of some of these. level. As you can see, we've cooked through a few of these hourly fair value gaps, so we can get rid of some of them. But the biggest one that we were watching is this hourly fair value gap, right? You can see how many times price has rejected, how many good reactions we had off of it. God damn, if I can stop sounding like a retard, that'd be awesome. Right there on Thursday, November 6th, initial rejection right there. Come back up over here, rejection again, and then we retested it multiple times, no body close above it, continued rejection off of this hourly fair value gap right there. So we're going to continue watching that, see if price wants to get through it, see what we want to do there. I think we can get rid of some of these guys. Daily fair value gap back through it, this hourly fair value gap. Remove that just so our chart looks a little cleaner. It's a good area to watch. This is probably, that's a 4-hour fair value gap that we retested. Yeah, we can see what price wants to do here. Getting that outside 4-hour now. See what they do going into this week. I'm curious. We have quite a weak build week this year. Let's see. Yeah, NQ, so that's on this chart. Let's outline it on these ones as well. So we need our previous weekly high. You guys are curious about the indicator that we're using. It's built by none other than Mr. Haste. So make sure you go check him out. It's inside our Discord. It's available for all the members. So previous weekly high, previous weekly low. It also tells you all of the levels that you need to know that you're looking at, so that you know exactly what you need to watch. So here, that Friday right there. And then previous weekly low, just a bit below that. Yeah, we had decent liquidity sweeps. I mean, for right now, we're going to continue watching these 12-hour levels. You can see we've respected them so well in this past week that we're going to keep on watching them. This is the 12-hour chart that I have. This 25,193.75 is going to be important, because if we break that, you can see the reactions that we had off of it. If we break below this, that's going to give us more room to the downside into that previous month's wick, I believe. That's what we have outlined. Yeah, that's going to give us a continuation to that previous month's wick. But you can see the way that we came up into the previous month's body. So we've had our open high so far, right? So is this going to be time for a low close now? That's what we have to watch for here. We come up over here, we have a volume imbalance right there. This was a fucking gusher of a weekly candle. Holding the weekly fair value gap here still. So that's something to watch. But 12 hours is going to be our friend right here. So above we got that 25,326.75. So that's something to watch. Price taps into that, we're going to be watching for reactions, right? We're trading off of reactions. We're not predicting what price is going to do, but we're giving ourselves those if-then cases, right? If price taps it and we don't see displacement through it, then we're going to see a reaction to the downside. If price gets through it, displacement, right, a strong move with the formation of some sort of PD array, then we can start watching for a continuation into that upside. But for right now, we're going to be watching what price is doing over here. A little bit of a grind up during the Asian session. Typically when they do that, they like to gush it down. If we have an Asian session and London session, just kind of like a little bit of a grind up. Obviously, we can see continuation if we don't see like some sort of manipulation with a sweep. But that's what we'll watch for right now. 25,326.75 is going to be that level. 25,414 above. Now that we've broken through it, we can retest it as resistance now, since it's provided us multiple areas of support, right? We're here support, over here support, and saw nasty reactions out of it, just immediate reaction, right? Straight to the upside right here. So right now, if they come back, retest it, we can look for a possible just a reaction to the downside from it. But that is if-then case, right? I'm not going to sit here and say that it is certain, because nothing in life is certain. In terms of crypto, right now, I'm looking at Dude, DOOD. Nice reaction out of that 200 EMA sweep of that previous daily low through this previous daily. 50% above that previous daily high through the quarterly is going to give us that nice price to the upside. So that's what I will be watching here. And dude, that move has already mostly played out, so just be mindful of that. Let's take a look at Bitcoin, and then maybe I'll scroll through some of these. Bitcoin, decent run to the upside, right? Off of that previous weekly closing price or previous daily closing price. We saw this case play out so far. So I want to see what they want to do with this weekly. We're still below the 200 EMA, so I'm not putting too many hopes. And we broke below this wedge right now, so possible retest of the wedge now and continuation to the downside. Just depends on how they want to take this monthly and what they want to do with it. Bitcoin, let me see if I have like a good chart right here. Yeah.
I just closed my long on it.
Yeah, it's a good one, right? Like the way we swept that previous weekly high. Oh, go ahead.
Nope, you're good.
Okay, swept that previous weekly high, rejected the yearly open, right? So price was not willing to go above it, below the 200 EMA. So now we're watching this monthly open, see if price wants to retest that again, and then there's a possibility for us going for that previous monthly low, just as a precautionary. But I do like the way that we have broken out of this consolidation here, or this wedge that we were building. And this is something that we outlined last week. We said, okay, well, price can do this, retest the upper level of this wedge, break below it, possible another retest right here, right? So if I get, I'll hide this one because this is now kind of the play. So now that we've broken through, we can see that, and there's that continuation, right? So kind of like a retest with any levels that we play, or with how we play all of our stocks, crypto, whatever. It's always a retest of some level, which has either been previous support, previous resistance, right? So once that level is broken, we now need to see it hold and show us the opposite PD array. So right now, Ethereum 2 below that CISD, below the 200, rejected the yearly open. So this could be another good continuation to the downside on almost these like bear flag looking things. Form is pumping, maybe not bad. Yeah, gun was a decent play. We got above the 200. We had an SFP here that was our biased for the upside. Now sweep this liquidity right there. My prediction was touching that quarterly open, but if not, then not. Obviously, I moved my stop now below this previous daily, or that daily open. So let's see, and you can see how we swept this liquidity, right? Swept this liquidity all the way to the right. Swept two liquidities, and now we're seeing that rejection and that reversal to the downside. So that's why we're playing level by level, and we're not just saying, okay, well, this can go all the way up. So it's important to just kind of see what's going on and know your exits and your entries. That's what I got there. Let's take a look at some stonks. For the stonks that I have for this week, I guess we'll look at CLX. Now I'm looking at the weekly chart. CLX retraced into this weekly OTE range, right after that sweep of liquidity over here on the left side. We're still above, and I'm liking this continuation to the upside, or that immediate reaction that we had through that CISD is what we want to see for a good continuation above. But the way this monthly is still a little bit of an inside month here, so we're just watching what price wants to do. But this weekly doesn't look too bad as long as we hold that OTE. This is one that you have also mentioned, Mr. Hayes. Spot weekly was looking a lot better for me now. Outside week, we're above the CISD, so the fact that we had that outside week is now telling me, okay, well, price can now see that continuation, that expansion to the upside. Previous monthly low has been swept, holding that range OTE, so that continuation to the upside, I think, would be decent on this one.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Possibly enter into the daily OTE here. Somewhere retest these levels like a 575 entry. I think wouldn't be too bad to ask for if we're like some like this, like that. Let me send it to you because I know you can't see my screen.
Yeah, let me see.
Something like that. That's what I would be looking for on spot.
Yep, I like that. Fuck, it's Spotify. Like, who doesn't have Spotify?
Yeah, exactly.
The fuck?
Coming out with the recaps and everything. AMT is another one that I was looking at last week. It's liking the way that this weekly had an SFP, so we had this weekly where we kind of swept above that previous weekly high. Couldn't clear these levels and couldn't clear this previous low at 182.14. So on the daily now, I'm looking for the CISD to hold, or I'm looking for price to hold the CISD level, and that can give us that continuation. But we need through that 182.14 first. We've also outlined this little broadening formation, or this wedge almost on it. This is we're kind of tightening this wedge. It's a similar play that we had on Ribby, and just kind of would like to see that continuation to the upside. Doesn't have to happen, obviously, but that's just based on the price action. COP, we outlined this a few weeks back. We said it's coming into OTEs. We had this consolidation, we had this manipulation. Now we're looking for a continuation, which on the weekly time frame, we closed above the previous weekly high. We displaced this weekly inverse fair value gap. We tapped into it. So if they can continue this to the upside through that CISD, this can give us a solid run to the upside. Low that weekly was iffy. I'm not too fond of that. XYZ. Costco, I was looking at Costco weekly possible longs here with that SFP. See what happened last time we had that SFP. So now we have an SFP here. Through that weekly CISD would give us a nice continuation. And through that daily CISD would give us a very solid continuation. I posted this one too inside the Discord, but I just sent it to you, Shane.
Yeah, that looks absolutely fire.
Costco, yeah, that one's probably the top watcher for me this week. Especially the fact that we swept that previous monthly low and swept that other liquidity over here. I think that can give us a nice, at least something to the upside into that 200 EMA. See, we have this grind to the downside, so this LR lock can go pretty decent. CRF and Lockheed Martin is probably going to be my last one on this. Lockheed Martin, if you were watching us last week, we said, okay, it's coming into the OTE of this whole range. We're tapping into 705. This is looking decent, right? We swept the previous monthly low. We took some calls over here after the CISD has occurred. Took some calls. We exited around this 470 area, which was the previous monthly 50%. Off of that, we were streaming here. We said, okay, well, now we can watch for price to retrace into this fair value gap, retest that CISD that I got, which it did. Now we got that solid close above. So the way that this weekly is looking phenomenal. I think they can have another retrace, just a little open low high close weekly, which in turn can give us that outside month at 49151. Through that, we will see a nice continuation. I think 516 would be a decent target, especially with everything going on in Venezuela. That monthly is also displacing that CISD. If you were watching us too, Mr. Hayes was saying, or maybe this was off camera, but we were just chatting. Mr. Hayes was saying, I bet you there's going to be some fucking war news, especially with how good LMT was looking. I think it was on stream, but LMT was looking phenomenal. So now that we got that weekly solid close above the 50% of that previous month, we can be looking at 49151 as that previous monthly high. So I would watch for some sort of retrace into this range, somewhere maybe tap over here at 475, and then that continuation to the upside out of that. Weekly open low high close on Lockheed Martin. Let me see. I thought I might have had one more that was looking good. Netflix is a good one to watch. MU, I guess shorts wise, MU would be the one that I'm watching here, especially on that weekly time frame. SFP on the weekly, failure to get the CISD, and we're kind of looking like a falling 3 here. So MU I'd watch for shorts.
Agreed.
Other than that, what other ones I had? MA.
I like CMG a lot still.
Which one? Ian.
CMG, Chipotle.
CMG, yeah. That was CMG. CMG, yeah. We're slowly approaching the CI or the OTE of this leg to the downside, but the way that it was looking on the monthly, weekly, and daily, that daily is looking good. I'm liking that daily. Another one, MA was another one that I was looking at. MasterCard. This one looked really fucking good last week. So we had this SFP right there. So we wanted to see through the CISD. We got through that CISD, right there. So now we're above the 200 MA, above the CISD. So now looking for a continuation to the end of this weekly and to the end of this month. I think that would be a good one to watch. 601. I think they can easily 3 month. Yeah, they can make an outside quarter for all time's sake. That'll be solid.
For old time's sake.
Why not?
Why not?
That's pretty much all I got. Yeah, KO. Actually, Coke was looking good too. Coca-Cola.
Yep.
Right here on
And
the weekly was looking really fucking good. With this 200 retest of this weekly range. Now looking for that continuation. Possibly HD was it?
Still like DraftKings a lot. Oh, also
Dickinge was looking good.
fucking ANF
Oh, dude,
called the bottom of that shit.
that shit was
Like, bad.
retarded. ANF was just fucking absolutely
Great
stupid.
verdict.
You know what's fucking? I had some 110 calls that were expiring on December 19th, and I bought them somewhere within this area. And then once it came down over here, I was like, "Ah, man," and I fucked off of them and whatever. ANF is a slut,
It is.
but it's I like this one too. ANF looks like a solid quarterly, but now we're also approaching. We're at second. That's second to last week. We still got like 3 more weeks, counting this next week. 3 more weeks until the end of this month. So let's see what Price wants to do here. Other than that, that's all I have. Honestly, everything else is inside Discord. So that www.papertrace.io for those interested in checking us out, seeing what we're all about, checking out the tools that we offer. As always, make sure you go check out our Twitter as well and turn those post notifications. That's where all of the updates are coming from, seeing what's going on, giving you guys everything that we're all about as well, tweeting when the stream times are. Make sure you also go follow Mr. Hayes at Hayes Beats. Get him to 3,000 followers. We're going to do a lifetime membership giveaway for the paper traders. Is my audio going? Yeah, that audio is going cool. I was like, what the fuck? No way.
I like ABT a lot.
ABT.
Sorry, last one.
Good. ABT. Yeah. Yep. I think I posted about this one. Yeah, through the CISD, this one's going to be good too. I like that. Through that daily CISD, I think we can see it a solid continuation. But the way that weekly SFP is playing out and the fact that we also swept that previous monthly low, I'm liking that one a lot too. Just need through this daily CISD. Like that. Post it. Yeah, you have exactly what I had outlined there too.
Yep.
Yeah, I posted a few. Actually, DE wasn't looking too bad either. DE had a solid weekly close. He had a really solid weekly close. But other than that, yeah, that's all we got. 2,000 followers for me. I'll quit my job in a Trump voice. So make sure you go make that happen. Retweet these, like them, share them. That's the best way to support us. We're not asking for anything. You don't have to go subscribe on fucking whatever Discord, right, or anything like that. Just retweet these live streams, like them, tune into them, keep watching. We appreciate you guys. We love you. Mr. Hayes, you got any wise words?
No, sir. Just be careful in the end of the year, like I've said every other time. I'll keep saying until the year's over.
Yeah. All right, y'all. See See you on the flip. Peace out.